This is why you're actually a masterpiece. And so, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. I'm very pumped to be here. This is actually the second episode of today, so it might be a little bit, not sluggish, but a little bit, dry in terms of my voice actually, but I still do have to just see, everything is fine. Because the problem is these, the files that I'm just handling with when doing the podcast and whatsoever. So actually the recordings themselves are very, 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 very big. And I'm so fortunate that my Wi-Fi is actually, my Wi-Fi is actually so strong that I'm actually able to just upload them because they are incredibly big. Like 3 gigabytes, one single episode. Yeah, you still have to say it's half an hour, but still, it's quite a lot. But yeah, as you might can see in the background, it's not Adam Grant and give and take, but it's totally something new once in a while. And I do think I'm gonna do these things way more often because it's actually nice. So this time we're actually going to talk about an article from the ideas.that.com website, which is from the TED Talks. You probably know them. They're pretty great, and there are a lot of amazingly also amazingly well known and amazingly intelligent people on them who just speak. And this is the exact same thing that I'm going to do today. I'm still going to read some things because it's an article. So it's about. So the title of the article basically is "Note to Self: We are all molecular masterpieces." I'm sorry, gonna take a sip. Nice. You gotta have to just drink way more. I gotta have to do. You maybe also, but because I think there are actually quite a lot of people who do have problems with actually actually drinking enough. Yeah, kind of stuck in my fucking brain. But yeah, I think it's an amazing article. I'm very pumped to just go through it. Especially because it's something different. It's something different once in a while, and also something different for you. Because the last week actually went through all the fucking time, or went through just give and take, which is nothing bad. Which is totally nothing bad because it's a great book as well. But there has to be something new once in a while. So note to self: we are all molecular masterpieces. From Stella Wright, from the 25th of March. 2019. I'm gonna read. So cultivate a healthy appreciation for yourself and all people by dripping out the wonders of the human body, suggests science communicator Samantha Chan. I guess it's Chan. It's Yammine. So I hope it is, and I hope I'm pronouncing it, not wrongly. So this post is part of the TED's How to Be a Better Human series, each of which contains a piece of helpful advice from someone in the TED community. To see all the posts, go here. So basically there are more of these posts, and I do also think that there are quite a lot of posts on this ideas.ted.com website. I guess it is quite the written format of what TED Talks is doing, or what TED is doing. Because on the original TED site you can also or only find quite videos, which is also great. They are really great, as I pointed out before, but having it as an article is also pretty well, because if you know the quality of the production of these videos and also the TED Talks themselves, you can just expect something pretty high, and it's something very difficult, I would say, to actually find something that's high in quality and also high in information. So most of us have had those fleeting moments when we become acutely aware of the wonder, strangeness, and ingenuity of the bodies we live in. We catch ourselves pondering questions like, how does my heart keep beating? And how can I shed so much hair in the shower, yet still have so many left on my head? And where exactly in my brain are the thoughts that I think located? Canadian science communicator and neurobiology PhD candidate Samantha Chan suggests that we encourage these feelings of astonishment and curiosity. In fact, we might even want to ask the "what am I" question a little bit more often. And I do think so, and I do exactly know what feeling they are talking about. Quite sorry. Is it better right now? I'm very, 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 very cold. I'm really cold. Might be because of the light, because the light are LEDs, and LEDs themselves are in general very, very cold. But I hope it doesn't bother you. But still, my closet is quite warm, so I hope that it's great like this. I do think so. I do can really relate to what they're talking about. It's really like sometimes you really have those moments when you just feel like it is just amazing, isn't it, that we are living and that we are just having such a great life, especially if you're living in the fucking first world country or first world regions. There's nothing to complain about quite. If you're complaining about school, I understand it, because sometimes it sucks and sometimes it's, a lot to do, but some people do not have even the ability to get some knowledge and to get some education, and it's very important. It is really important. But yeah, as long as you're happy and as long as you're just feeling great in the body you're having and with the mind you're having, I'd also just have to say it's fine, whether you have some knowledge and some education or not. Happiness is such a big thing in for me at least, and I do hope that it is for way more people, because you can often see that people actually just, for example, working on something they actually do not like, just because they get some money off of it, and they just can buy stupid shit they actually don't need. But I really understand what they're thinking about, and it is truly something, I guess, and it's really my point of view, that you should remind yourself a little bit more often on, because we are great. We are just really incredible creatures. It's just amazing that we are living, that we are just, acting the way we are acting, that we can do the things we can do, and all these great things. So in Chammine's personal experience, that query has served her well. She says, "I'm glad I asked what I am, because it's a pretty cool answer. One that's granted her a fresh perspective and led to her career in science." So what exactly are we? While poet Walt Whitman was... Whitman. I guess it's Whitman, because, there's no E. Sorry actually that I'm laughing, but I don't know, it's really funny somehow, but yeah. So while poet Walt Whitman has probably not referring to our cellular makeup when he wrote "I am large, I contain multitudes," he was spot on. The average human body is estimated to contain a whopping 37.2 trillion cells, but this number doesn't even include the 39 trillion bacteria in the human microbiome, or the many bacteriophages we host that aim to infect them. Just amazing. As I said, and also as they said, I do just have to keep looking that I'm not actually too fast, that I'm taking my time to actually point things out that I think are just very important to point out, because now I do have the time. During all these book summaries, I probably do not have as much time. It's quite stressful sometimes, because I always have the feeling of just giving you a lot of information, giving you a lot of knowledge, which is the same thing there. But the whole big difference is that this is also only an article, and the book summary is way, way more, especially on the alanchang.com website. They're just incredibly long, which I think you can see by the 12 Rules of Life and also Why We Sleep. They were just really long, and it's great on one hand because you get a lot of information and a lot of knowledge, and also the feeling that you actually do not have to go through the book, because it's so detailed and it is so just incredibly good written as well, that you think like, why should I bother to actually kind of read the book if I have this great summary? Now I'm gonna take a sip, I'm sorry. Mm. I do not actually know why I've started to put out 10 videos a day when it's the weekend, but it feels great. Do not get me wrong, it feels incredible to just sit there, talk about certain things that I'm kind of passionate about or at least interested in, and kind of put out something, and maybe put also something out that people will enjoy or maybe are also enjoying. But yeah, let's see what we're having. These 37.2 trillion cells represent more than 200 different cell types that range dramatically in size, shape, and function. Just look at your body, says Chaman. You have skin, you have hair, you can imagine your muscles, and you can feel your pulse. All of it, your brain, your fat, you're made of all of these beautiful different pieces, all of these cells. And it's quite the truth, It is quite only one thing, and it's cells. Everything is out of cells. And it always amazes me if I'm just thinking about the whole evolutionary thing and how we actually got to the people we are right now, which is also very interesting. I would totally suggest to do have a look at a video from the In the Nutshell guys, or group, or actually team, because there are quite a lot of people and they make incredibly well also designed videos, and also very informative, where you can learn a lot of things in a very, very easy and very just easily digestible way, which is incredible. And which totally points out that if you're having entertainment and if you're having knowledge, people will come, because nobody wants to learn something from somebody that's very, very kind of, that's very boring. Yes, boring. And this is also one of the reasons why I try to just cut it a little bit, cut it, quote unquote, because I'm actually not cutting them, and to make them, look. It's about the look, to make them look a little bit better and make them look a little bit more interesting, so that people just, kind of have the feeling of entertainment, and also in terms of me. Even though I do just have to say that I've kind of got better at speaking in English totally, and also kind of performing, quote unquote, because or just speaking with more enthusiasm and speaking more with just passion, also just speaking rightly, because I actually once have gone through a book that was quite about how you should actually just talk and whatsoever, and how you should actually use your voice. And this is something that I'm consciously thinking about, that I'm quite always thinking about, when I just really consciously just focus on my breathing and focus on how I actually produce the tones that are coming out of my fucking mouth. And the thing is, the more air you put behind your words, the fuller and the more volume you seem to have. This is something that I always kind of remind myself on, because I really tend to get a little thin on air, and then these words just come out really thin as well, and they just do not, at least for me, I don't know how they're actually kind of sounding in terms of the difference, and then so between them and these words that are just really kind of with a lot of air and with a lot of volume and with a lot of just resonancing body, or whatever it's called, so where, and just the frequencies and all these waves, the waves of the sound can actually kind of build up. The same thing if you're having a guitar, there's also the body, because this body actually makes the sound quite as voluminous and as just good as it is at the end. But I can feel what she's talking about. So just how is it that they are able to perform so many specialized activities and tasks? Although all the cells in your body contain roughly the same DNA, is there some? No. Some DNA, the genetic code is expressed differently depending on the cell. Each one is only using a subsection of DNA, and so each cell ends up a little bit different. Chemine says this is because they are using the DNA to make different molecules, different proteins, and so each cell has a different combination of stuff inside. Different cells can thus form tissues, and organs receive transmit signals and protect our bodies from pathogens. Whatever the fuck pathogens are, I do not have any fucking clue. Maybe I could kind of look it up. pathogens are actually these things that make you ill. So like bacteria and whatsoever. So bacteria and viruses and all these shitty motherfuckers that make you ill. Even though I do just have to say, um, which might be interesting for some of the people, there are some things that I'm actually not eating. You know, I'm not eating a lot of wheat. I really try to just really reduce the amount of wheat that I'm eating, and especially white bread and also white things in general. With pasta, I didn't realize until I think 2 weeks ago or three or somehow or something like a month ago. I didn't know that it is actually a wheat and that it is actually, you know, like white bread only in pasta. And as I realized it, I was like, fuck, what I'm gonna eat now, you know, because the only thing that I actually also cooked or only cooked myself was fucking noodles or pasta, like I don't know, just you know some with meat. No, I have never just made it with meat for myself, but with vegetables and with tomato sauce and just the regular thing that, you know, just poor people eat, or people who do not just can cook, you know. Could be this one, it could be the other one. um, but and also rice, and also white rice seems to be not as good as it could be, and you should totally just eat brown rice or something. But the thing is, other people then also then just suddenly say, okay, you know, white rice isn't as bad, and then I'm just also thinking about just Eastern countries like Japan and then China and whatever, where actually I guess by now the oldest people are living, and I don't know, you know, then the main food and the main just food base, I would even say, is just rice. And so I don't know. I don't really know, but I've seen, you know, that things that makes me ill is actually just working out too much. So I do at the moment have 3 workouts a week. The first one is on Thursday. The second one is on Friday actually, which is not that good. I understand, but because it's a pretty great time span in between those 2 workouts, which is not very great, and especially because the workout on Friday is actually in school where we are basically only playing soccer and also other ball games, which is great for me because I deeply love all the ball games out there. But in terms of actually building my physique and building my physique and my body, not that great because it's not building it. It's maybe only building my endurance and cardiovascular just health and whatsoever, but not my muscles. And but still, it's important. And one of the other things that really, you know, improved my health and improved my, I think even, you know, resistance against pathogens like, you know, viruses and bacteria, is actually eating healthy. You know, as easy as it sounds and as just really dumb as it sounds, eating healthy and doing sports and just, you know, kind of watching your body and listening to your body. If your body says, okay, 3 workouts additional to the sport you're having in school is too much, it's way too much for you, don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Something that I learned, and I think I actually learned it pretty late. I've been doing just a lot of sport. I actually was also in the mood of actually doing it every second day, which would be great, which would be something I love because I would never have just a feeling of, no, I'm working out way too less. I'm never building the physique that I want to have. But yeah, so 2 important things, working out or doing something of sport. You know, the good thing about working out is that you're actually just building everything. With most other sports, or with a lot of other sports, you're just building one part of your body. But yeah, if you're just, you know, lifting weights and all these things, I'm doing calisthenics, which is only with my body weight. Then I would totally suggest you to also do some cardio. Yeah, for sure. Do some cardio, because if not, there might be some fucked up things. Because yeah, you know, you do have to do cardio and you want to just, yeah, if you wanna don't kind of die by just going up some steps or some stairs, actually would be nice. So even as we continue to live and breathe, the cycle of life and death is occurring inside us. Some cells, the cells that form our heart muscles, the brain cells in our cerebral cortex, and the cells in the inner lenses of our eyes, generally stay alive for the duration of our life. And these, however, are the exceptions. Turnover is constantly taking place as cells die, undergoing a sacrificial program death called apoptosis. So apoptosis, once they are no longer needed, which makes sense. If you don't need something, it's only gonna just take a lot of resources from your body, and therefore it just has to go away, has to die, has to be destroyed. The time is over. They have to go. So, for example, the cells that make up our epidermis, which is something I don't know, what are epidermis? Thank you, motherfucker. The same exact fucking shit. Oh, I see. Not gonna complain. I actually wanted to complain about having the same exact translation as the word itself just, looks like or sounds like or whatsoever. Which is the outer layer. The outer layer of our skin live just about 2 to 4 weeks before they fall off, get replaced and become dust. Enterocytes, intentional cells responsible for the absorption of essential components, exist for around 4 days, making them our shortest lived cells. Interesting, very interesting. What feats these cells perform during their lifespan? Now it's getting low on fucking. Gonna have to see. Gonna have to delete some things. Gonna be some race against the fucking time. Because my PC shouts. Oh, I understand why. I totally understand why. Because I have quite a lot of programs open, which is not good, especially if you're not having as much space on your PC left, which is actually something that I've never thought about. I've always thought about, it's about your CPU and it's about your RAM that you're having that's actually making up for the speed of your device, and also for the for the amount of things and or programs you can just open and whatsoever, but also the HD. So basically, the main drive where you're just kind of storaging all your files is also very, very, very important. Every day your kidneys filter about 48 gallons or 180 liters of fluid, and your heart pumps something like 2,000 gallons or 7,600 liters of blood. As Chaman says, all these little cells are working so hard for everything we think and do and say to one another without us even realizing that they are doing it. Which is amazing, which is quite just astonishing, isn't it? Because they're just like there, you do not have to pump your fucking heart, and you do not have to, just contract your muscles really consciously to move. You're moving because you're moving and you're just thinking about it. And that's the enormous thing. You're just somehow, I guess, I do not know the shit, but I guess you're just thinking about this sort of things, and your brain just sends some signals, some electrical signals to your muscles, and they then either contract, or relax. Or at the same time, the same thing. Like, you do just have to contract something and something just relaxes at the same time. It's like with the biceps is actually contracting when the triceps is relaxing, and the other way around, which means if you're flexing your triceps, you're actually also relaxing your biceps. So if you do have to stretch your biceps, just flex your triceps. Makes sense. But some people don't realize this. Seems to be like. So they allow you to see, breathe, eat, and hear. Think, communicate, love, and see the shape how you perceive and interact with the world around you. Every single movement you make is the result of an intricate collaboration among many different specialized cells. Now this is something worth taking the time to appreciate. The tireless, priceless, coordinated behind-the-scenes machinations of the cells in our bodies. It's just amazing. It is really just amazing, and we should all be grateful for actually living. We are fucking living. We are. You are. I assume you are because you're listening to me and you're just maybe watching this exact same part. We are living, and this is something that's very, very amazing. It's really amazing. Because you could have been a tree. And as a tree, you can only be a tree, but you can be quite a lot of things. You can be, you could be another person, you could be rich, you could be poor, you could be athletic, you could be not athletic, you could be highly intelligent, you could be less intelligent, and way more things. It's just amazing. And look around, this process is happening in everyone you know and everyone you don't know. Chaman says, seeing all of these cells and all of these things that we are made of has made me more compassionate for myself and for others, because it makes me realize that there's so much going on inside of each of us. Reminding ourselves of the intrinsic beauty of our bodies highlights the blend of sameness and diversity that compromises each of us. Chaman says, so often we reduce someone to one thing. We reduce someone to a stereotype, an object, their race, their gender, and we are not one thing. We are many trillion things, and we are all individuals. We all are. So the next time you want to pay someone special compliment, just tell them, as Chaman puts it, according to science, you are a magnified molecular masterpiece. Want to find out what causes baldness or how wounds heal? Learn the answers to these questions and absorb other fascinating findings on